Shammai, Ya'osher al, Ya'o alaeno akad. Let me make sure I said that right because I'm still catching up on my Hebrew in our native tongue. We speak Gabare, and that is our native tongue. That is the tongue we lost before we became slave through the transatlantic slave trade. We lost our native tongue, and I am learning it. I am getting acquainted with how our ancestors spoke, and in the tongue they spoke, and that tongue is Gabare, the Asian language. It says Shema Ya'o Sharal Ya'o Ala Eno Ya'o Akkad. It means hear Ya'o Sharal Ya'o, your Alaim, your God, Ya'o is one. This is beautiful. It's a beautiful tongue. It's a beautiful language. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here. My name is Mika Alban Ya'osher Al. Mika Alban Ya'osher Al. And welcome back to my channel. This is Truth Matters Broadcasting, where we discern the truth about religion, the kingdom of the Creator, our higher power, and of course, the church. Welcome back. This is a platform where you can decide for yourself, choose for yourself what you should believe. Over the years, we have been taught our ancient masters, and today, our slave masters, we have been taught their religion, to worship their God, and, to constantly in the mind thinking that you're a slave and your beginning is from slavery, but it's not. Today we're talking about the potter's clay, and the reason for this morning is because I was inspired by my beautiful Ashat, that means wife, Ashate, my wife. I was inspired this morning in conversation. We were talking about the potter's clay and how our lives are like clay in the hands of our Creator, remolding us and reshaping us. But the question is, what do you do with clay that is already molded, already shaped? How do you make it into something new? You would have to grind it into powder again. You'd have to grind it into powder and remix the whole thing. That means the actual clay itself, the actual pot itself, you would have to break it and grind it, and sometimes cannot be even reused. But as marred clay in the hands of the Creator, He can reshape us even in our old age. This is why it's important that you must be born again. Now, born again is your mind. It's really in here. The Messiah taught us, he says, unless you be converted and become like little children, you won't enter the kingdom of heaven. You won't enter the kingdom. You won't have the understanding. You have to come out of the mindset from which you were brought up in. You really got to change it. You really got to be converted in here in your heart. And if you're not, you're going to find this walk to be a very difficult and strenuous one. And so today I want to encourage my brothers and sisters on this very topic, the potter's clay. The most important thing about this is to understand which God you're worshiping. This is the most important thing. Which God are you worshiping? Because there's many gods that has been worshipped. Many gods that have been worshipped. The Creator Himself said, "Hear, O Ya'osheral, He is one God, and He's the God or Alaim of Ya'osheral, of Jacob, Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." It's specific. He's specific as to who is His people and who worship Him. And so one of the first things He tells us, we must have no other gods before Him, because there are many that are called gods, but are false gods. And He proved Himself to us when He destroyed all the gods of the ancient time, which was Egypt. And so, my friends, we today have to recognize which God. This is very, very important. Now, why is this? Why do we have to recognize which God we worship? Because our God is the God. Our God is the true God. We do not worship your God or their God or this religion, our religious God, or this God of the religion. We do not worship that God. We worship our God, and you must understand the difference. If you can trace your lineage through the transatlantic slave trade, you worship the God Yahweh. You might not be doing it now because you were taught to worship Jesus as God. You were taught that Jesus is your God who was made flesh and come and dwell amongst you. You were taught that he died on a cross for your transgressions. You were taught that he gave you grace. And so you can pretty much do whatever you want, eat what you want, drink what you want, just do whatever you want, because you're under grace, you're not under law. And as if to plant a seed in your mind, in your minds, that grace trumps laws. To plant a seed in your minds that you cannot obey God's laws, you cannot live by his laws, they're too hard and too strenuous for you to live by. And some would go as far as to say it is impossible to obey God. It's impossible to walk in his laws and precept and judgment. And in every scripture you can see the Creator speaking to his people about his laws and his precepts and his judgments and his commands. If you love me, keep my commands. This is how you love the Creator, is by doing what he says. But someone tells us that no, you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Therefore, you just got to believe in him. His blood stain covers you. And you believe that for a time. And I believed it for a time until I come to reality of who this God is. And this is why it's important to answer the question for yourselves. Which God do you worship? Now, if Jesus is the God you worship, go ahead and worship him. If Buddhist is the God you worship, go ahead and worship him. If Krishna is the God you worship, then go ahead and worship him. If Dagon, Malak, or any of these ancient gods are the gods you worship, go ahead and worship them. I'm not here to tell you which God to worship. I'm here to tell you which God we worship. And I'm also here to tell you that if you can trace your lineage through the transatlantic slave trade, then the God you should worship, the God that is worshiped by us, is Yahweh. His name is Yahweh. Not Yahuwah. Yahweh. Yahweh Shai. Yod He Vav He, as some wants to call it. The four-letter continent. Listen, we don't worship Jehovah. We don't worship titles. You know, we say Almighty God. We say Lord. These are titles. We don't even worship our Father. That's a title. The only part of that makes it relevant is who art in heaven. See, when you say who art in heaven, then we know who you're talking about, the Creator. And when you understand that he is your Father, the word Yahosheral means prince with Yahweh, or prince of Yahweh. It actually means son of Yahweh. Prince A prince is a son. We do not worship your God. This is very important to understand. So if you come on this broadcast looking for me to acquaint my message to your God, you are on the wrong channel. I'm actually only seeking one people. One people. And when I say one people, I'm talking about a nation of people who can trace their lineage through the transatlantic slave trade. My message, my channel is for you. We're no longer lost. We are found. So if you want to know the name of the creator, go to the Ravenous Birds page. Ravenous Bird on YouTube. Ravenous Bird. RAVENOUSBIRD. Just go to this page and look up true names of the creator. Then you're going to see where all these names come from and how they come into existence and why we have the names we have today. If you understand your lineage, if you understand your history, you will realize that you are sold out of Africa. You are not Africans. You are not African Americans. Though they were black, the indigenous Americans are black people. The indigenous people of the land are black people. I am not equating you with all black people. The earth began, humanity begins with melanin. Black man, the first man. Whether you want to accept it or not, it is scientifically proven to. You cannot get the recessive from you cannot get the dominant from the recessive. Recessive is the white man, the white skin, the white complexion. You cannot get melanin from that. A matter of fact, the recessive is void of melanin, carbon. But it's scientifically proven that the white man comes from the black man. The Chinese man comes from the black man. The Asians come from the black man. The Europeans come from the black man. You are the first human beings on the planet. When the creator said, let's make man in our image, he was talking about you. Out of you comes all different man. Your DNA, RNA, all different strand of whatever is inside of you cannot be found in no one else on the planet, scientifically proven. The Eve genes, that's what they call it, the Eve genes. And you know what's so crazy about this scientific proof? You know what's so amazing about this? White people are telling you this thing. It's coming from the white scientific structure. They're telling you this. The Eve gene is only found in the black woman. Grab my smoothie here. Berries ground up in coconut water. Yeah, superfood, man. And just for the record, seedless grapes is not grapes. You want to make sure that you're eating your grapes with seeds. Go find the one with seeds. I know they seems to be like, oh, they just so. No, get your seeds. Make sure that any fruits you're eating have seeds in them. Anything seedless, it's not food. I'm learning these things. All right. Oh, by the way, for those who are joining me, my name is Meka Alban Aaron of Yaosher Al. And thank you for joining us. A couple of days ago, maybe a month ago or so, I had a scare. I felt bubbles coming up in the left side of my, like right where my heart is. Scares the living daylight out of me. Thought I was having an heart attack, but I'm telling you, man, it was bad. And I know that if I'm going to die, if the creator call my number, that's it. I mean, nothing I can do about that. However, while I was going through this, I felt in my mind, I said, could you have done something about that? And is it possible that you're the reason why you're having this issue based upon what you're eating and how your lifestyle? And I tell you, it gave me a scare. Long story short, I went to the doctor, checked out. It wasn't my heart. Seems like it was some gas bubbles or whatever. They still don't know what it is, but they ran a whole type of tests. But I use that as a wake up call. That's what was the light switch for me. I was 310 pounds. Yeah, 310 pounds, 6'3", 310 pounds. And I'm like too heavy for my size, for my for just too heavy for life. So I did make a decision. I'm going to work out. I've been working out now, 4 days a week, two on and two off. Well, kind of I work Monday, Tuesday, and take off Wednesday, and then I work Thursday, Friday, and take off the weekend. But during the times that I take off, I do a lot of stretching, just stretching and jump rope. That's all I do. We do 3 sets of stretching, literal stretching, and we did some leg press, and now we're doing some squats with the weights like that. That's all we did. That's all we do. Stretch on the ground, stretch, do the squats and some leg press. And then the other day, he had a punch in the bag. That's beautiful. I love that. I'm looking forward to doing some more of that. That's all I've been doing. So I'm down to about 285 pounds. I feel great. I look great. And I'm like, man, it just feel nice to not, having those bubbles coming up in my heart area, and just seeing my body toning up nicely. It's really good. I look at the mirror, and I took up some pictures before and after, and now 6 weeks going on my 7th week doing this, and I just make it a regular part of my lifestyle. I did change my diet somewhat. I mean, I used to eat rice almost every day, but now I decided, you know what? Too much rice, and too much carbs. So what I do eat rice. I still eat rice, but I do once a week. I eat rice once a week. So once I eat my rice for the week, that's it. I don't eat no more rice again. And if I do eat potatoes and sweet potatoes, I try to eat sweet potatoes because I'm working out, and I don't eat it. I only eat it once a week. So I try that, and I try to drink a lot of soup and stuff like that, and a lot of fruits, a lot of fruits, and I eat about 10% vegetables. But that's my new diet. I also eat once a day now. Like I don't eat like how I was eating constantly. Like I'll get up, maybe I make breakfast. Wasn't really a breakfast person, but I'll make breakfast, and sometimes if depending if I'm sitting in the house, I might eat something for lunch. I might eat some bread or something, bread and bully beef, corned beef, or something like that, or you know what I mean. And then I eat a dinner, and then of course if I stay up late watching TV or whatever the case may be, you get hungry again, so you eat again, and then you go to bed. So my lifestyle is like I was just getting up, eating. I sat in the couch and watched TV or whatever the case may be, not moving around. Food is sitting there in my stomach, not digesting properly. And I was eating and drinking a lot. Like I would drink, like almost finish my juice, and you can see the cup I drink. So I was drinking a lot of Tang. It's like a Kool-Aid, and I was just drinking, and then I would fill up again and drink this a second time. And so now I'm have this food in my stomach and the juice in my stomach, and then I sit back in the couch like that. You sit back in the couch, you're not really sitting up straight. You actually lean back, and so I leaned back in the couch, and I was just like, "All right, man, okay, this is that." And so let me make sure I'm hearing myself here. Okay, good. Yeah, and then I sit back, and then in the night again when you eat some more and you sit there, and now your nigger right is setting in, and you're falling asleep, and then you sleep in the couch. And I've been sleeping in the couch a lot because and then you get up around 11:30, 12, 1, 1:32, and then you go to bed with all that food in your stomach. So of course your body's gonna talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. So I made some simple changes, and my life is turning around. Feel very well, very well. So if you're going through struggles right now, you can make some simple changes and change your life. Change your mindset, change your life. Really, it is true. If you change your mindset, because everything starts here. Everything starts here. Change your mindset, change your life. All right, going back. So if you're just joining me, we're talking about the potter's clay. The potter's clay was a topic my wife and I were just having a conversation about. and I felt in my rook that I need to come and share this information with somebody. So I hope you are that somebody. So where I was talking about the which God you worship. I pinpoint that we don't worship the God you worship. We don't worship Jesus. We don't worship Jehovah. These are not names of gods that we worship. These are the gods of our slave masters. These are the gods of wood and the god of stone. We don't worship these gods. So we don't worship Allah. You might be hearing me say Allah aim. Allah aim in Gabari means God Almighty. You know what I mean? My Almighty God. So we have in our language words like which the Muslim use, but I don't want you to mistake and think I'm a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. I don't claim to be Muslim. I am also not an Israelite. Now I know you know there's some brothers running around in purple and they're out there and they're telling you that they're the chosen and they're from Deuteronomy 28 and all that good stuff. And they have a lot of understanding from the scriptures that we also believe, but we're not Israelites. You might tie up our heads. I don't think I've ever seen them wear a tatapat. This is the 10 commandments written in our language. Why Alabar, Allah aim. This is the 10 commandment. I don't see them have that, but they have the different things around. And so they look militant, but we are not Hebrew Israelites. So get that and understand that we are Ya'osher-Al. We're named after our God. We're named after our God. If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways and seek my face, then I will hear from heaven. See? So his people have to know his name. Somebody's trying to invite themselves here, but yeah, I'm not taking an invite right now. All right. So his people have to have his name. You show me a God in the scripture whose name is Israel. Israel. His name, when Yaakov, Ya'o-Kaab, that's his actual name, but in English it's pronounced Jacob. Jacob's name was changed not to Israel, but Ya'osher-Al. That's how it was changed to. His original names was pronounced Ya'o-Kahab, after his God. But when Ya'o-Akab wrestled with Ya'o changed his name to Ya'osher-Al, a man who struggled with God and with man, right? So his name becomes Ya'osher-Al. Now, Israel, when you hear the name Israel, you're not looking for black people. When you hear the word Israel, you're not looking for those who can trace their lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. When you hear the word Israel, you're looking for some white guy. White people, long beards, dressed up in black and white clothes. Those are the Orthodox guys. And then regular people who wear the yarmulke and calling themselves Israel. And that is who they are. Because that is the convert to our belief. They practice our belief. They practice our the Shabbat, not the way we keep it though, because they keep Shabbat from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. We don't keep Shabbat from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is the only Shabbat, which is the Day of Atonement or Passover, where it's kept from evening to evening. It's only one Shabbat that is kept from evening to evening. Every other Shabbat is kept. Well, one of the Shabbat, there are 7 Shabbats, by the way, 7, just in case you don't know. One is kept, which is the Passover, which is kept from evening to evening. The other 5 is kept in their season. That means it can come on any time during that month, anytime on any day during that month period, because it's coming within a season. Then you have the weekly Shabbat that comes every end of the week. which is the 7th-day Shabbat, which is the holiest of holiest Shabbat, which started Saturday morning, pagans Saturday morning, and end pagan Sunday morning. So you see, in everything, similar but different. There's no God by the name Israel. No God named Israel. So his people has to be called by his name. If you look at ancient times, the ancient kings would name their kingdom after their gods. And their kings would name after the gods, and the people would name after the gods. That's why through the transatlantic slave trade, your slave masters gave you the name of their gods by giving you their names. So the Johnson that you carry, the Sewell, the Smith, all of these names that you have are names of the gods that your slave masters worship. It's their name, which denotes ownership. They own you as property. The Emancipation Act in the 1800s doesn't change a thing. It emancipate, which means it transfer ownership from private ownership to the state. You are owned by the state. That's why you have a straw man and all these different things. You don't understand these things, but I'm not going to get into that with you today. Right? So if you do understand that everything is controlled by a deity. I wrote something down the other day. I don't remember where I write it, but man. Oh, yes, here it is. Philosophies comes by way of identity. No, identity. No, let me read it again. Philosophy comes by way of ideology, which becomes philosophy, which is gratified by deity. Let me read that again. I'm going to say that again. The philosophies of your slave masters comes from the ideology, the ideas, how they think of you, how they thought of you, and where they get it from, because it becomes their theology to keep you as a slave and to keep you bounded and to keep you trapped and to keep you as property comes from a philosophy which was created from an ideology which becomes theology. It becomes part of their religion because they believed the mentality of the Greeks, the white man, the white power structure is that you are their property and that the gods that they worship gave you to them as slave, as property. Now imagine you're praying to your slave master's God and you're asking your slave master's God to free you, to give you liberty from the ones who are praying to the same gods to keep you as slaves. Think about that for a minute. So you're worshiping your slave master's God. And that's because you don't know who your God is. You don't know who you are. You thought your beginning is slavery. You thought you came from enslavement because everything they taught you in school started from around 1611, 1619, when the slaves come to America. But they don't tell you they don't tell your history, and they know your history. You just don't know your history. And they make you believe that you came from Africa. Yeah, like Africa is the place, the birthplace of humanity. They're telling you that that's where you came from. As a slave, you were a savage. Man, you should look up the word savage. That's where they're telling you come from. You believed it. You know why there is why we can call people English? Because there's a land called England. You know why you can call people German? Because there's a land, a geographical sector of the world that is called Germany. You know why you can call some Asians Chinese or Japanese or you understand what I'm saying? Because there are lands that has those names that they came from. Where's your land? You're not African, and you're certainly not American. So who are you? Who are you? Who defines you? Here's a better question for you. Here's a better question for you. Instead of who defines you, how do you define yourself? Because if you're not African and you're not American, then what are you? You notice if you look at the scriptures, what did the Creator promise our father Abraham? He promised our father Abraham land. He said, look in the stars of the sky, your children shall be in a land not their own, he says. And they'll be enslaved 400 years. And after the 400 years, I'm going to come and redeem them. But you see, not like he did with us in Egypt. The time he was talking about was not Egypt. Even though our ancestors were in Egypt for a total of 430 years. But if you do the math, and calculate the time from our first brother who got into Egypt because we sold him into slavery because we were jealous of him, from the time he enters Egypt, he was about, some say he was about 17, some say 20. So let's say he was 20 years old. He was 110 years old when he died. All right. So if you're doing the math, and then his oldest brother, one of his brothers, Levi, was about 138 years old before he died. So if you add up if you should take away the years from the 430 years, you will see, ladies and gentlemen, that they were not slaves in Egypt for 400 years. And that's how you calculate. That's how you understand. So the 400-year land could never be ancient Egypt. Now watch, I'm gonna give you some things here. I'm gonna give you some things, because in order to understand the potter's clay, you have to understand how the Creator's thinking. He showed our father. First, he called our father from the land of the Chaldeans. They don't worship the Creator God. They don't worship the Creator God. Abram, seeking the Creator, reaching out for the Creator. The Creator knew his heart, called him. He said, listen, come. He said, come, leave your father's house. It's one thing you must understand about this Creator, that your God, he does not and will not be worshipped with alongside or with other gods. That is why he taught us this word, Shema Yahosher Al, Yaho Alaeno, Yaho Akkad. Shema Yahosher Al, Yaho Alaeno, Yaho Akkad. What that mean? Yaho Akkad. What that mean? Hear, Yahosher Al, Yaho, your higher power, Alaim. Yaho is one. He's not going to be worshipped amongst other gods. You can't have his temple here and someone else's temple there. No, he is a separatist. So if you think you can worship the Creator in America, you got another thing coming. Because America is a land that invites the worship of other gods. America is a land that invites the worship of other gods. And the first thing that the Creator tells us, we must have no other gods before him. So America is not the place of your worship. You must come out of her. And so he called our father to come out. You notice that he didn't accept worship of his people in Egypt when they were in Egypt. He doesn't accept worship. He ain't going to be worshiped around no statues of Ra and Tut and Mukmtan and all this. different gods. He was not going to do that. Come to the land where I will show you, he said. The land is important. He promised our forefathers to give us the land of the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Reubenites, all these ites. And for a time, he took our brother Joshua, Yashayahu, and led the people into these lands and was conquering all the lands to put us there because he made a covenant with our father. He said, listen, leave the land of your fathers. I am going to make you as numerous of the stars of the heaven, and all the world will be blessed by you. You know why the world would be blessed by him? Because the world would know that his God is the true and living God. That's what he meant when he says, all the world will be blessed through you. All the world will know through you and your descendants who I am, because you are my glory on earth. That's why he calls himself or identify himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Never in history he says he's the God of this world. Never in history has he ever said he's the God of Egypt, or the God of the Philistine, or the God of the Canaanites, or the God of the Amorites. Because all these nations has their own gods, own philosophy, own ideology, own theology, and own deity. And so his people has to be separate because he's going to rot in you. He's going to rot in you. He's going to use you to destroy nations. Why do you think we practice in our native tongues, understanding what he actually says? He hide this from the world. Did you know that when the Messiah came, he was only sent to the lost sheep of Yahushua? He wasn't sent to the world. You were mistaken when they put a white face on him and make you think he died for the sins of the world, or he was sent to deliver the world from sin. No, my friends. They put a white face on a black man and take his word and manipulate it to make you think that your God is white. Your God is not white. The white God is for the white man. Your God look like you. You ever look at the history? Look at the history of gods around the world. Don't you see the Buddhist God? How he looks. The Indian God, how does he look? You look at the gods around the world. They look like the people. They look like the people and speak the language of the people. We're not speaking our language. We're not speaking our native tongue. You think this filthy thing that's coming out of my mouth is our language? It's filthy. I wish to God I could never speak. I wish to God it's erased from my mind. Our native tongue is Gabare, the tongue we had at the beginning before he confounded at Babel. That's the tongue he spoke to our forefathers. How do we know? Because it was the ancient tongue. All the world spoke that one language. But in their rebellion, they began to do some things, and Yahweh confounded the language. Who you think confound the world that the world don't understand? When the Messiah came here, you know what he says? He spoke in parables, that those who hear it will not understand it. Because the message is only given to the understand it, those who receive it. That's why he says the kingdom of heaven is like a man who hears. He who have ears to hear, let them hear. All of Revelation is telling you, hear. I heard a voice from heaven. You're supposed to hear it. It's like a trumpet call. When it's blown, it's supposed to stir something up in you, and you're supposed to come out of her, my people. And so he's going to use us. So how is he going to use us to destroy this world? And it's not by military might. You don't have no land. You don't have no infrastructure. You don't have no power. You're weak. You're like worms. You can only prey on yourself. That's why you see the black and black crime is so rampant in the world today. You can only prey on yourself. Worm is not a predator. You have absolutely no strength. And who made you that way? Yahweh made you that way because of your disobedience. He's the one who makes you into a worm. But now he's giving you power. And he's going to use you not by military might. What he says, not by might, nor by power, but by my what? We learned it in the English, filthy English language, but by my spirit, says Yahweh. Now, spirit comes from the word rok, which means breath or wind force. What am I speaking? I'm speaking the rok, wind. It's this wind that comes through the pipe that makes sound. He's going to use us by way of sound. It's our praise. What the scripture says? Yahweh inhabits our praise. Where do your praise come from? Your mouth. Where it comes from? Your mouth. Through your heart. It comes from your heart, which is your mind, out into this reality. So he's going to use us against these nations. All of these whirlwind and hurricane and earthquake that you see happening. How do you think they're happening? It's happening from his people. It's prophesy. We are calling down these things. You don't think Elijah called down fire from heaven? You remember when the 4 armies came up against Yahusha? He said, just sing. The priests, just sing to the battlefield. They went out praising Yahweh. By the time they get to the battlefield, the armies turn against themselves and kill themselves. By the time they get to the battlefield, every soldier was dead. Your mouth is powerful. Words is not just wind, it's power, especially if it's accompanied by Yahweh. And so he's teaching us to chant, Nalakada Babal. She's broken, Abesh Baal. He is confused, Baal. Kath Mordak. He is broken, Mardak. Abesho Gatsabeha. There are confounded her idols, Kato Galaleha. They are broken her idols. Ke Galaga Lea Goe Matzapon. Hoyeshet Atarat La Hashama. Waya E Yasho Baha Ma Adam Wagad Bama Nado Haleko. You know what that means? For it has gone up against her a people from out of the north. It will make her land to a desolation, and there will not be an inhabitant in her from man even unto beasts. Flee you all, depart you all. Kehana anakema air wamaila gal babal ka mambabal ka goin galadame ma'aratzapon wagarako laha sham masham talakad katseo kakabor mashkel la yashob rakem. This is our ancient tongue, ladies and gentlemen. And we are over here chanting and we are watching what Yahweh does. Let me tell you something. The Messiah taught you about this. You just didn't understand. In Matthew 24, he said, listen, they're going to come before I come back. All these things must happen. The temple was destroyed. We were sold into slavery. We were going to come out, a remnant of us. And once we come out, guess what's going to happen? He's going to send a shitstorm. And that's why he chose the place for us right here in the Philippines, Cebu, Philippines. And those who hear the trumpet of his name, the shofar blowing, Yahweh, that great and mighty name, if you hear it and you come out, you will be saved. Salvation is Yahweh. It's not in some man called Jesus. The very name Jesus is translated in our English language to mean that God is salvation. Is not what it translated. So the very so-called name Jesus is not pointed to the person as God, but it's pointing to the Father as God. That's why the Son always points to the Father. I get my authority from the Father. The Father is my God and he's your God. I'm submitted to his command. I obey his command and remain in his love. Isn't that what he tells us? So, as we take a look at the potter's clay, ladies and gentlemen, is the Creator teaching us something. Now, I have a couple of scriptures here that I want to show you about the potter's clay. And we'll first look at Isaiah, Yeshayahu 64, verse 8. That says, "But now, Yahweh, thou art our Father. We are the clay, and thou our potter, and we all are the work of your hands." Jeremiah, Yeremiah 18, 2-6. "Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will cause thee to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he wrought a work on the wheel, and the vessel had he made of clay was marred in his hands of the potter. So he made it again another vessel, as seems good to the potter to make it. Then the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, O house of Yahushua, cannot I do with you as this potter, saith Yahweh? Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hands, so are you in my hands, O house of Yahushua. What is he saying here to us? He's going to remake you. You know, the message of being renewed or born again. The Messiah teaches us is very important. He says, unless you be converted and become like little children, you can't enter the kingdom. Now, I'm 53 years old, coming into this understanding. Everything that I've ever known, everything that I've ever practiced, everything that I've ever believed, everything that I've ever do was all lies. Well, was all lies. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's all lies because Yahweh was the one deceiving us. I know, sound crazy. The Father deceives? You're not reading your Bible, man. The Father can turn someone's mind against the truth? What? Nah, isn't that the work of the devil? You think the devil has power? You think Satan has power? Satan is a little peon in the hand of Yahweh. He does Yahweh's will. You think he can just come out here and do what he wants? You think there's a devil on one side trying to take over ownership? Listen to me. The devil is working for Yahweh. Death itself work for Yahweh. You think you can die unless Yahweh wants you dead? You can't poison yourself. You know how much people try to off themselves and failed? If Yahweh don't want you died. You know how much people get in some accidents in cars? You look at them like, how on earth did you get out of this car without a scratch? People go up there, jump on the parachute. Does it open? They bounce a couple of times, still live. People drown coming back from the dead. People heart stop for hours, come back. If Yahweh wants you dead, you will be dead. If he doesn't want you dead, life and death is in his hands. Good and evil is in his hands. And that's what someone didn't train you to see. Death and life is in the hands of the Creator. Todala Yao. He's the one who create good, and he's the one who create evil. He's the one who create death, and he's the one who create life. You must understand these things. And so all of what's happening on the planet Earth, it's not some white man taking over the world and trying to make it his kingdom. Yahweh manipulates their heart, make them do what he wants them to do. And then in the end, he's going to destroy him. Don't you know that all their wealth belongs to you? All their houses belongs to you. All their cars and belongs to you. Everything they have belongs to you. You know why? Because it belongs to the Creator. The heavens and the earth is his. All the cattle on 1,000 hills is his. All the gold and silver is his. Everything is his. And it will serve his pleasure. When you understand this, you can look at life differently. He's in full control. The president is the president because Yahweh put him there. You think it's man that put him there? It is Yahweh that put him there. Because Yahweh is going to use him to do his bidding. Make America great again? Great again for who? Black people, oh, we have President Trump, we're going to have Trump. Make America great again? You're not listening to the statement. You have not listened to his campaign. You don't know nothing. Anyone can manipulate you. And it's Yahweh that's blinding your eyes to make you think something else because you will not listen to him. Make America great again? You have to look, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself, and that's why I'm talking to you who can trace your lineage through the transatlantic slave trade. I'm talking directly to you. Make America great again for who? When was America great for you? When was America great for you? I'm telling you, the sublime message in his campaign is that make America like it once was. When you were slaves and owned by them. You listen, I know you see some black people are billionaires. Some black people are millionaires. Some black people have businesses and be a Fortune 500 companies. That is by design. The Oprah Winfreys of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world. It's by design. It's designed so you can think you have hope. As long as you stay in America, you will never have hope. As long as you stay in the land of your enslaver, you will never have hope. They make you think this one way. You know what's going to come to you next? I think reparation is going to come to you next. Is it reparation or reprobation? I don't even know which word it is anymore. You're going to get the money. They're going to give it to you. And you know why you're going to get it? So you can think that your life is fulfilled and ready. And you're going to hold your place in the country. And you don't know. You don't understand that you're being deceived. Come out of her, said Yahweh, so that you will not be partakers of her plagues and of her sin. I'm going to read it to you. And so what Yahweh is doing with you, he has to reshape you. The problem is you're already set into the jar. Some of you he made for noble purpose. Some of you he made for household use. So in order to remake you, you have to break you. Why you think things are not working out for you? Why you think you're living paycheck to paycheck? Why you think you just can't make ends meet? Why you think everything you have just goes back to those who you got it from in the first place? Even in our neighborhood, if you look in the neighborhoods you live in, tell me what you see. Who own the businesses in your neighborhood? Who own the schools you send your children to? Who own the supermarket you buy your groceries? Who own the hospitals you bring your sick to? Who is telling you what to think and how to think? And who is telling you? Who is the head behind the pastors in your neighborhood? Where's all your tithes and offering going? All those millions of dollars you gave on Sunday, all those millions of dollars you gave on Saturday, if you're a Sabbath keeper, where's that money going? Where do they put your tithes and your offering? It's going to the very bank that is gentrifying you. Your money is going into the bank. When you get your paycheck and you decide to save to become something, where do you put your money? In the bank. Where they take your money do? They take your money that you're putting in the bank, that you're putting in your churches, and they're lending it to people who are coming into your neighborhood and buying the very houses, the very buildings you live in. And then jack up the rent and push you out further and further into the abyss. Do you know what the plan for your life is? The plans for the black family, not just you can trace your lineage through the transatlantic slave trade, but for the black family. You know what the plan for your life is? By the year 2050. I think it's going to happen before that, but this is what they're saying. This is what they're projecting. How the hell do they know this? You ever wonder how they know this? Who told them this? By the year 2050, the wealth of the black family, that's you. No, they didn't say the Nigerian black. They didn't say the Jamaican black. They didn't say the African black or the American black or the Canadian black. They say the black family. That means they incorporate, if you got melanin in your skin, you are black. Even if you're half white, half Chinese, half Japanese, half whatever you are, if you have dominant in your complexion, if you have 1% of black blood, one drop of it, you are identified as a black person. And they're telling you that by the year 2050, the wealth of the black family will be zero. 2050? Where are we now? 2024, 2025? So that's a few short years from now. And if the wealth of the black family will be zero, then what makes you? What makes you? It makes you codependent. It makes you a slave. A codependent is a slave to the one who feeds it, feeds her, feeds him. I want to be codependent. How about you? I want to be codependent. How about you? The only difference is between me and you is that I don't want to be codependent to a system. I want to be codependent to Yahweh. Thodala Yahweh. So making America great again is not for you. It's to take slaves back into ownership. Because that's when America was its greatest. That's when America was its best. Is when every white man and every white woman can own a slave. Now, don't get me wrong. You got some white people that was beautiful. They loved us. They risked their lives for us. They hide us from the Nazis. They hide us from, you know what I mean? So don't get me wrong. There are some strangers that's going to be grafted in because their love for Yahweh and their love for his people. Don't you know anyone who bless you will be blessed and anyone who curse you will be cursed? America has cursed you for 400 years. From the time the first slave entered America, it's 1619 to 2019. That's 400 years. Now understand this. 2019, a pandemic arose, which they told you from day one it was coming. How could they know it was coming? How did they know a pandemic was coming? You can only know something is if you have the insight, if you have the secret. And they tell you it came. And it came. And it killed millions. You don't know the numbers of people that died from this jab. Millions died. And millions more is going to die when they turn that 5G network on and it stir up that which is in you. You're going to die. Unless Yahweh saves you. But watch this now. 2019, a pandemic came and shut down the world. Now I want you to go back in history from when the world began, And I want you to ask yourself the question, what event shut down the world? Because I can only tell you one. One event shuts down the world from history began for humanity on this planet. And that's the flood that Yahweh sends. He resets the world. But he only saved how many? 8. You want to tell me that in a world of billions and billions of people, only 8 good people he could find? Just 8? Just 8 people that heard his words? Just 8? And a bunch of animals who heard his voice and believed what he said? A bunch of creepy crawlers that heard his voice and believed what he said? Ah, man, this thing here. Come on. A bunch of creepy crawlers, a bunch of birds that heard his voice and went into the ark? How many heard his voice when he said he was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah by fire? Yahweh rained sulfur from the heavens. Where was the sulfur? In which cloud did he rain it from? When he rained hail on the ground in Egypt and it burns fire. No, you guys are Christian. He's not going to do that. You're waiting to go to heaven. You're waiting to go to heaven. You wait for the cloud to open and the Messiah comes down, your white God, and then those who believe in him will be caught up in the air, and then those who dead will rise, and together they're caught up in the air and be in heaven forever. That's what you're waiting for. But you don't know the real story. You prayed the real story, but you don't know it. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We're not going to heaven, ladies and gentlemen. Heaven is coming to us. That is what the Messiah preached. The kingdom of heaven is here. Repent. It's here. It's coming to earth. The Creator is coming to earth. Not the other way around. So if you're looking to get yours in heaven, they're robbing you of what you're supposed to get here. You've been bamboozled. You've been deceived. You've been lied to. Heaven is coming to earth. Where is the Messiah going to set up his kingdom? On earth. Not is in heaven, on earth. And Yahweh is just waiting for his people who hear his name, heard his voice, and come out. And he don't want you to look back. Because if you look back, you're going to turn into a pillar of salt. If you're going to be keeping, man, I got to run back, you're going to die. That's what the prophet says. Thus say Yahweh, you're going to die. Come out and live. Obey me and live. 8 people in the whole wide world? 8? And so was the time of Noah, so shall it be in this time. What? How much is 8? How much people 8 people represent? A remnant. A remnant is a small amount of people. So if this is the whole Ya'osher Al, all of those who can trace their lineage from the transatlantic slave trade, scattered amongst the whole world, you want to tell me only a remnant is going to be saved? Only a remnant? That means everyone here is gonna die? He's only saving this much? Now, why is that? Why is that? How did he save the 8 before? How did he save the 4 that came out of Egypt, out of Sodom and Gomorrah? And one looked back. They heard his voice and they do his commands. That's why they were saved. It's not because they were special. Why was Abraham chosen? He heard his voice and he did his commands. That's faith, guys. And this little piece of people right here, they heard his voice and they do his commands. Yahweh is going to rain fire down on Washington, D.C. And the time is now. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. I know people have come before us and tell us things are going to happen and it doesn't happen. My son even asked me, he says, Dad, what if everything that you're saying is going to happen doesn't happen? Then what? Where will be your faith be? What then? I said, well, you have to take the lessons from the written word of Yahweh. We have the examples. When Noah went into the ark, the rain didn't fall, did it? Not right away. He was in there 7 days before the rain came. What do you think was happening outside? I said, let's say nothing happens. Let's say nothing happens. And son, something happened because I moved. I left. I'm here. I'm here where the Creator told me to assemble. So something already happened. But let's say nothing happened. Where do I want to be to find that out? If I was to tell you right now that lightning's going to strike right where you're standing, would you want to stand? Would you want to stand there to find out? Do you want to stand there to find out? Or will you move? Are you going to say, well, if God is real, let him strike me down with lightning? You know, I hear people say that all the time. I hear people make these kind of statements. If God is real, then why this and why that? If God is real, let him do this. And they didn't get struck down that day. And see, God is not real. God is not real. But 10 years from now, they get struck by lightning. And they forgot that they said, if God is real, let me get struck by lightning. They just think the Creator operates in their time. They think the Creator operates when they call. The Creator operates in his own time. His ways are higher than us, and his thoughts are higher than us. But one thing for sure, One thing for sure about this creator that I know for certain that I can put my life on, his word never returned to him void. He never altered his word. If he says something, it's going to happen exactly. The problem is that a lot of people are interpreting what he says, but they are not given the understanding. So they are left to interpretation. And when it doesn't happen, they shift and cherry and change. No, if it doesn't happen, then we all falls. Going about our lives. But I'll tell you this, I'm still not coming back to America. I never set foot on that place and on that line again. Not going back to America. Done with that place. I'm going to go where he tell me, and I will wait here and die here if I have to. Because to be a disciple, to understand truth, you have to be willing to die. Give up everything you have. And that's what's the problem with most of you. You don't want to give up what you have. You're secure in your ignorance. You're secure in your needs, and you're selfish and self-centered, and you're going to die for it. His prophet. Listen, go to Deuteronomy 29 and verse 29. Then go to Amos 3 and verse 7. Where do you think he tells? How do you think he revealed things to us? Through his servants, the prophet. There are secrets about him. There are secrets that we don't know. But the only way you're going to know it is if you go through his servants, the prophet. So you got to go Old Testament. And you see, most of you are encouraged to look at the Old Testament as if it is past. You are New Testament Christians. And what you don't know, when the Messiah walked the earth, there was not a New Testament script to be found nowhere. It's some 100 years later, they wrote the stupid New Testament that is fooling people left, right, and center. You want to know the truth about this creator? I'll tell you the truth. You want to really know if I'm telling you the truth? You really want to know who this God is, if his name is Yahweh? Why don't you do me a favor and go ask him? I wish you would just go ask him. You might not know and believe the name Yahweh, but start with Father. You know he is your Father, right? Who art in heaven. Why don't you just go ask him? Why don't you just get real with him? He's waiting for you to get real. Get personal with him so you can know he exists. Because if you're going to come to him, you must believe he exists. Some of you praying every day. You don't hear a word. And then when you don't hear, you default. How you know he's hearing you? I want to know. I don't want to be the only one talking. So I'm going to put my fleece on the ground. I'm like, oh, if that's you, make that wet. So that I can know that you exist in my life. The potter's clay. 8 people? So after Noah and his boys and their wives repopulate the earth, you see what happened? Genesis 11, Torah 1:11. What they did? They went back to idolatry. I mean, look at our history, man. We walk with Yahweh in the desert. We see all his glory. We see what he did, and we still went back to idolatry. This is after they came out of Egypt. They still make a freaking calf in the wilderness by the mountain. After you see the 10 plagues, the fire by night and the pillar of clothes by day. After they drank the water from the rock and eat the bread from the manna, they still turn back to idols. I don't get it. No wonder he sold us into slavery for 400 years. But the 400 years is up. This is what I'm trying to tell you. And during that time, he prepared a ravenous bird. He prepared a man who he has chosen and handpicked to execute his counsel. He revealed his name to that man, and he tell that man, go spread my name to the world. Blow the shofar, and look who's going to come. And everyone who heard the name came. And those who came and can't stand the heat of the fire, they left, meaning they were not meant to come. They were not meant to be saved. But they came. Because many are called, you see, but few are chosen. There will be some rejected ones. And those who last is those who keep oil in their lamps. Wait for the bridegroom. If he called you and tell you to stay here, you stay. I don't care how long you're on that mountain. Could be 10 years, could be 15 years, could be 100 years from now. I'm waiting. I'm doing what you said I should do. And if this is where I die, then so be it. I did what you told me to do. And when I see you face to face, I said, I did what you told me to do. Let your mercy and your grace be upon me. Remember me. But I did what you tell me to do. We have a prophet among us. We have a man like Masha amongst us. We have a man like Dawade amongst us. We have a man like Yaosap amongst us. And we're in the wilderness awaiting the destruction of the central point of our highest enslavement. And we're looking to see what Yahweh does. Now, let me wrap this up. Actually, I got to read more scriptures because I got to talk to you about the potter's clay, man. I got to. All right. Let me just put everything in parentheses for you right here. Here it is. If you can trace your lineage through the transatlantic slave trade, you are the covenant child, the seed promise of Abraham. It is you. Yahweh has chosen you to hear this message and is calling you out from wherever you are to Cebu, Philippines, the wilderness, where he will nourish you and make you strong and make you multiply and make you rich. You can't worship him unless you're rich. And people say, oh, here we go with the. Listen to me. The Creator requires certain things of you. If you don't have those things, how can you fulfill his requirement? So he, Yahweh, has to bless you. The blessing is in the obedience. Read Deuteronomy 28, 1-15. If you do these things, blessed will you be. I'm not making this up. You in the land of your enslavement and you are struggling. He wants to make you rich, prosperous. I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. It's not just for the prophet, it's for you. Because he required his tabernacle to be built in the wilderness. He requires sacrifice and offerings. He requires the first fruit of everything you have. You got to have something to be able to do that. And if you don't have anything, you still got to give it. He wants to bless you. Why? Why? For what purpose? To show forth his goodness on the earth through you. You are his covenant. You are his child. That's why you're called Yaosheral, sons and daughters of God, of Yahweh. Prince and princesses, that's who you are. You're Yaosheral. And he's calling you. This message is for you. Come out of her, my people, so that you will not be partakers of her plagues and of her sins, because her sins have reached up to heaven. From 1619, they brought your ancestors from Africa, sold by Africans. Yeah, and African people are your brothers, by the way. That's Jacob, twin brother. You're sold by Africans to the Spaniards, then the Portuguese, England, and you was taken to these lands. The bulk of our people was taken to America. In the 1500s, we were taken to the Caribbean island and all over North and South America. But the bulk of our people was taken to the United States of America. And from there, disseminate all over the world. And America has treated you like shit, property. They eat your flesh, sawed you in two, enslave you, raped you. They did everything detestable you can think to you. And for 400 years they make you slaves. And even in the 1800s, when they emancipate you, you thought you had freedom. Where is the land that they promised you? Where is the land and the 40 acres and the mule that they promised you? They understand the power of land. That's why they don't make you own any of it. Because if you have land, you have power. They understand this. Because you can dig the earth and get water. And if you can get water, you can plant the ground. And if you can plant the ground, you can have animals on the ground and livestock on the ground. Why do you think the government write in their law that you cannot own livestock? This is what our ancestors went through. They understand. They understand power. And they understood that you are the central point of their power. Look at your creations. You built America. Your inventions, if you were to take all the inventions from our ancestors away from America, what would America be today? You think about it. You are the wealth of America because there's a blessing that comes with owning you. There's a blessing that comes, prosperity that comes with having you. Because Yahweh has put something in your mind that he doesn't put in theirs. And no one can outwork you. No one can outperform you. And that's why they know no one can outfight you either. So they have to psychologically change you. They conquer you psychologically. Because we're more than them. We are the majority. We multiply like roaches. And so they mess with your reproductive systems. Shrunk your penises through the foods and the chemicals that you've been eating and breathing. And that's why our women are having longer periods, longer time periods. Instead of having like a 3-day, 5-day, 7-day period, they're having weekly periods. Like the period lasts for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, months. Why do you think these things are happening? It's by design. It's by design. Because they have to sterilize you. Because that's the only way they can control you. They have to control your growth and they have to control your mind. It's done by design. And so Yahweh wants to remake you. But he will not do it in the land of your enslavement. You have to come out of her. And so the one event in world history that shuts down the world is the flood, and it came 7 days after. The second event in history that shuts down the world is COVID-19 freaking teen. The economy of the world is shut down. The entire world. You'd think that is by coincidence? The Creator is resetting time. We're coming up on the 43rd Jubilee. Every 50 years, it's a Jubilee cycle when the Creator resets the world, resets its leadership, resets its structure. Why you think the American dollar is coming to shit? Why you think, let me tell you something, man. The Creator is resetting the world because he's setting the stage for another 98 years, another 100 years, where he's going to take the remnant of his people and make them powerful again. You're going to see people coming in there to the Philippines to fight us, send their ships after us. But the land is going to open its mouth and swallow up those ships, swallow up those things. And we're going to be on the mountain saying, La Karababal, La Karababal, a baseball, Katmordak, a baseball gatabea, Kata Galilea, Kegalagalea, Goe Matzapone. We're going to be chanting and praising our God. Call out his name, Yah. We're going to be singing and shouting and watching Yahweh destroy our enemies. You think he come to save you from your sins? You think they tell you that Jesus came to save you from it? Listen to me. You can't be saved from your sins, but you can be forgiven from them. Yahweh comes to save you from your enemies. The enemies of Yahweh is your enemies. You're saved from sin when you obey his laws. He's the one who forgives them. He forgives your sins. And here's the thing, what you don't know, because you haven't been looking, he can forgive you and still kill you. Did he not forgive Masha, aka Moses, when he struck the rock instead of speaking to the rock? Did he not forgive him? But did Masha, aka Moses, went into the promised land? He said, yo, you gonna see it. I'm gonna show it to you. But you ain't going over there. Why? Because you sin against me over here. So he forgive them, but he take him out. Did he not kill Aaron? He said, listen, take off the robe off this guy. He's the high priest. Take off the robe, put it on his son. You ain't going either. Did he not kill him? David, when he killed the man and took his wife, did not the Creator forgive him? Yeah, the Creator forgive him. But what he said, the sword will not leave your house. So don't think you can't get forgiveness, but still get punished. Some of you are being punished for some shit you've done, and you don't realize it. You might be forgiven, but you're still going through some shit. But you see, if you come over here, to the Philippines, where he tells you to come, then he's taking the curse from you. You're still under the curse. He's the one that cursed you. Nothing good will come of your life, even if he give you $10 million. You're still cursed. You're only a cursed man with $10 million. And if he bless you with $10 million, he's using you to keep you in the curse and so that you can hold others in the curse. The only way to be free from that curse is to come out of her. You stay in Babylon, you're going to die. That's why only a remnant's going to be saved, because only a remnant is listening. How long you been hearing me speak? How long you been hearing the truth? You holding on to your life? Don't you know the Messiah told you? You got to be willing to give up everything you have. You're not going to make it. Is it your wife that is holding you back? Your husband? Your job? Your children? Your career? What is more important to you than your own life? What is more important to you than trust in and believe. You know why our ancestors died? They don't believe God. They don't believe Yahweh. They only trust in what they could see. Some of you are waiting for a sign before you can move. It's going to be too late. The pandemic will be here. So let me just tell you, 2019 marks 400 years of enslavement. And within that time, 2023 is the Exodus year for his people. We're still in the Exodus year. March of 2025. Remember now, our year doesn't start like the pagan year in January. Our year starts in spring. So at March, the extra year, which is the 50th year, is going to be complete. That will be a 50th Jubilee cycle. And it will end and begin a new cycle in spring, sometime in March. Don't ask me what date. Don't ask me what time. Don't ask me what hour. All I can tell you, it's spring. Whenever Yahweh starts spring, it's gonna be a turning point to his people in this world. And so COVID-19, he sent COVID-19 to put the world on notice. You don't think he's going to do this? Watch this. Watch this. What I tell you earlier, if you want to know the truth, according to Amos chapter 3, you got to go to the prophets. The servants, the prophet is who will give you the truth of Yahweh. The servants, the prophet. Watch this. So let's go to the prophet Yeshayahu, aka Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah. And let's go to chapter 24. Let's see if a prophet spoke of this. Watch this. Behold, Yahweh, the creator, right? Lay waste the earth. No, he's just going to do Thailand. Oh, no, he's just going to do Russia. Oh, he's just going to do here. No, the earth. Where do you live? The earth. Where do you live? The earth. Behold, Yahweh, lay waste the earth and leave it in ruin. He's going to bring the earth back into the Stone Age. And he's going to do it gradually. Because he have a point to prove. It's just how he works. What he say? The time of the sins of the Amorite is not yet full. He waits patiently. But watch this. He says, and scatter its inhabitants. Let me read it again. This is Isaiah 24, verse 1. Behold, Yahweh, lay waste the earth and leave it in ruin. He will twist its surface and scatter its inhabitants. People and priests alike, servant and masters, maid and mistress, buyer and seller, lender and borrower, creditors and debtors. The earth will be utterly laid waste and thoroughly plunged. For the Lord Yahweh has spoken these words. So make no mistake. When in history has he did that? He did it at the flood. But he promised never to flood the earth again. So it's not going to be with a flood. And he put a rainbow in the sky, an everlasting covenant to show you he mean business. A sign leads to a destination. It's a token, a mark, a seal, a covenant. So how is he going to do it this time? He said the earth mourned and withered. The earth, the world languished and faded. The exalted of the earth waste away. So what he's doing it waste away. What do you mean he's doing? Well, you ever cut a branch from a tree, or you broke a flower, a leaf from a flower? Does it dry up immediately? No, it doesn't. It take a time, right? Take a bit of time. Waste away. That's what it means. He's doing it season by season, time by time, days by days, month by month, year by year. A little by little, it's wasting away. It's imploding from within. Watch this. The earth, verse 5, is defiled by its people. They have transgressed what? His laws. They have overstepped, change the degree, and broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore, a curse has consumed the earth, and its inhabitant must bear the guilt. You think he's playing? Go read the rest of that. The earth, he's going to destroy this place. But first, just like he did Abram, you got to get out of there. Just like he did Noah, build the ark. 120 years later. Just like he did Lot, and his wife and daughters. The angel told Lot, we can do nothing. You're still here. You're still here. We got to get you out of the city. We can do nothing while you're still here. And the command was not to look back. If you look back, you're going to turn to a pillar of salt. And 1 out of the 4 look back. So 1 out of every 4 people are going to always look back. And they're usually the one who convinced the other 3 to look back or not to leave. Who's convincing you not to leave? Who's telling you? Let them stay. You leave. And he's doing the same thing again. Let me show you some scriptures, man. Let me show you some scriptures. Let me see. Let me show you some scriptures. Let's see here. Let's go to Micah. Let's go to 2. And let's go to verse 10. Micah 2:10. Arise and depart, for this is not your place of rest, because its defilement brings destruction, a grievous destruction. If a man of wind were to come and say falsely, I will preach to you a wine of strong drink, he would be just the preacher for this people. Wow. What is he saying? Somebody is going to come and tell you lies. This guy is a cult. They over here culting and doing culting things, and why they got to take you from your land? If this is truly from God, why don't he do it here? You heard what I said. He's not going to have you worship in the land you were enslaved. You weren't enslaved in the Philippines. And that's why he's taking you over here. And besides, the Philippines have 7,640 islands. And he chose the biggest landmass to put you on. And we didn't come here to integrate. We come here to be a people. We have a piece of land we're going to buy until we can practice the laws of our God. We'll have our own government, own everything. Micah 2 and verse 12. I will surely gather all of you, O Yaakov. I will collect the remnant of Yaosheral. I will bring them together like sheep in a pen, like a flock in the midst of its pasture, a noisy throne. One who breaks open the way will go up before them. They will break through the gates and go out by it. Their king will pass through before them, Yahweh as their leader. So did you hear that? Let me sing that to you again. I will surely, this is Yahweh, gather all of you, O Yahosher. I will collect the remnant. He's not collecting everybody. Not everybody went into the ark. Not everybody went out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Look at that city. One by one. Two by two. One from a family and two from a city. That's how he's doing it, guys. He's collecting the remnant. That's what he's collecting. The remnant. One by one. Two by two. One by one, two by two. Let me see something here. Hold on, I'm trying to find something. Isaiah 27 and verse 12. How is he going to do it? A remnant, just a little piece. And watch this now. In that day, special day that he marks, in that day, Yahweh will stretch from the flowing of Ephraim to the wadi of Egypt, and you, O Yahosharal, will be gathered one by one. And in that day, a great ram horn will sound, and those who were perishing in Assyria will come forth with those who will exile in Egypt, and they will worship Yahweh on the holy mountain of Yerushalayim. What do you think he's talking about? How did he say he's going to gather you? One by one. Let me read it again. In that day, saith Yahweh, will stretch from the floor of Ephraim and the wadi of Egypt, and you, O Yahosharal, the remnant, will be gathered one by one. One by one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here with me and you're listening to this, he's speaking to you personally. You might just be coming through the gate right now before he shuts it up. Because I can tell you this, he's going to shut it up. He's going to shut it up, guys. He is going to shut up the gate. And the question is, will you be shut out or shut in? Jeremiah 51 and verse 6. Flee from Babylon. Escape with your life. Do not be destroyed in her punishment. For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will pay her what she deserves. Babylon was a gold cup in the hands of Yahweh, making the whole world drunk. Who was doing it? I told you that he's the one doing it. Babylon was a gold cup in the hands of Yahweh, making the whole world drunk. The nation drunk her wine, therefore the nation have gone mad. Suddenly, Babylon has fallen and be scattered. Wail for her, she, her, Balaam, for her pain. Perhaps she can be healed, but she won't be healed. Let me read this again, man. flee. What flee means? Get out of her. Escape with your life. Do not be destroyed in her punishment, for this is the time of the Yahweh's vengeance. He will pay her what she deserved. Yahweh is going to punish America and its allies like you never know. He's going to use them to fight each other and destroy each other and kill each other. White people are going to be killing white people. Black people are going to be killing black people. Chinese people are going to be killing Chinese people. He's going to say, he's saying pestilence, famine. Do you know that China's water source is being dried up? They don't got no water over there. They got the technology, they got money, they got ships, they got warplanes, they're training their soldiers heavy. They got millions of soldiers, but they got no water. You think you can have an army without food? Which army can fly or can sail on the waters that Yahweh can stir up the waters? Which plane can fly in the air without air? That's why they call it airplane. Let me read one more for you. Revelations. Revelations means to reveal. And your prophets make you think nobody can understand it. But the very word means to reveal, revelate. It's to reveal to you. It's to relate to you. Revelation 18, I'll read this for you. After this, I saw another angel descending from heaven. An angel is a messenger with great authority. And the earth was illuminated by his glory. And he cried out in a mighty voice, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a lair for demons, and a haunt of every unclean spirit and every unclean bird and every detestable beast. You see why he has to fall? She has to fall. All the nations have drunk the wine of her passion, of her immorality. Who held the cup? I just read it to you. Jeremiah 5:51-6. Who held the cup? Yahweh was the one who held the cup through Babylon and making everybody drink of it. He's the one manipulating the whole thing. Told you that. He's the one deceiving the nation. I told you that too. Who held the cup? Yahweh held the cup. And he make all the nation drink of the wine of her fornication. And he's telling you right here, a detestable, unclean, demonic, detestable beast. And all the nation have drunk the wine of her passion, of her immorality. The kings of the earth were immoral with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown wealthy from the extravagance of her luxury. All the businesses, Fortune 500 companies, union, everything, they have got rich selling you and selling to you and taking your melanin and sell it, because your melanin is power. It gives them life. Taking your babies and drinking their bloods. What do you think is happening, girls and boys? Shooting you down on the road, using their police force to bruise you, selling their liquor and everything to kill you, to keep you hanging and selling their drugs, using their prescriptions to desterilize you and killing you off. You don't even realize it. Watch this. Watch this. Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people." He's not calling everybody out. One by one. How are you going to be saved? Ain't nobody coming from the sky to save you. How are you going to be saved? You got to put on your running shoes. You got to leave. You got to save yourself. And he's putting it in your hands. That is why he gave you a command to come out. He never said he's going to take you out. He never said, no, this is something you have to do all by yourself. And he will open all the doors you need to come out. Come out of her, my people. He's not talking to everybody. Only a remnant. When that shofar, it's not a ram's horn. The English translation got it wrong. It's a trumpet. When the trumpet sound, which is his name, Yah-oh, will you come out? Come out of her, my people. Why? Here's why. So that you will not share in her sins or contract any of her plague, for her sins are piled up to heaven. The sin of America and her allies has piled up to heaven. That means Yahweh seen it. Let me tell you something. Anytime the Creator comes down, it's judgment. Go look into history. When the sins of the world came up to the earth, to heaven, what happened? He came down and flooded the whole world. When the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah came up to the heavens, what did he do? He come down and see it, sent 2 angels, destroy it. When the sins of Nineveh came up to heaven, what he did? Send angels, destroy it again. When the sins of Egypt went up to heaven, what he did? He came down and destroyed it and its people. He's the same God. He's the same Elohim. When the sin of the Amorites filled up to the heavens, what did he do? He come down and destroyed them. What do you think he's going to do to America and its allies? Their sin has reached up to heaven. They don't worship him as God. They don't uphold his laws and keep his status. They've changed them. They've created their own days. Look at the holidays. Some of you just can't wait for Christmas to come. You already have the tree up in your house. You already have the lights around your house and the damn stupid reindeers on your lawns. That is a holy day. Christmas is a holy day. They only changed the Y to I. It's a day of rest and holy convocation. That's why you go to church, celebrating the birth of Jesus. It is blasphemy. There's only one God. Shemai, Ya'osheral, Ya'o Alaeno. Alaeno, Ya'o Ka'ad. Yes, the Almighty is one. Here, Ya'osheral, Ya'o, our Almighty. Our Almighty, our Al, Ya'o is one. There's no 3 in 1 God. That's blasphemy. There's one God alone. We worship one God, not a triune God, or a tree. We worship one God. The plague of the America and its ally has gone up to the Creator. He's going to destroy it. You're going to see it. Mark my words. It's not 10 years from now. It's not 15 years from now. It's next year, 2025, spring of 2025. You're going to see a blood moon. He tells us, when you see this sign, know it. Yahushua tells us this way. He says the moon will not give her, the sun will not give her light. The moon will turn to red. But not many understand it because they give us this English translation, water down the truth. So come sometime in March when you see that moon turn red. Because he gave us a sign. He gave us a sign. When you see these things, then you will know that I am he, and there's none like me, declaring the end from the beginning. He declared it to his servants, the prophets, and his servants is telling us, and we know it. And those who hear his words, call upon his name, those are the one who's going to be saved. But you can't call upon his name in America and think you're going to be saved. Here's why you're not going to be saved, even if you know his name. Because you've been disobedient. Oh my goodness, if I could just crack your skull and throw it into your brain. The best thing you can do for the Creator, the best thing you can do for yourself is to obey Yahweh. To be obedient is better than sacrifice. He don't need your money. He don't need nothing from you. He created all things. He needs your allegiance. He needs your obedience. The one you obey is the one you serve. Who is your God? Is it you? Are you your own God? Is your mommy, daddy, your boss, your career? What's holding you? The fear of the future? Listen, when you come to be in his arms, then he is the one that's going to protect you. He's the one that's going to feed you. He's the one that's going to clothe you. He's the one that's going to make sure you have a roof over your head. When you were a child, you lived in your mother's house, didn't you? You live in your father's house. Some of you were fortunate to have mommy and daddy together. But whether you have a mommy or a daddy or a grandma or just some strangers who love you, you had a place to eat. You had a place to sleep. You had a place to lay your head. You didn't worry about the bills, did you? No. Once you live in your mother's house, your auntie's house, they paid the bill for you. They paid that you have light. They paid that you had water. They paid that you had food. What makes you think Yahweh is not going to do the same for you if he's calling you to give up everything you have? If he's calling you to give up everything you have, all the people you know, don't you think he's going to create a family for you? You're leaving your family to come to what? A place where you don't know nobody. So to do what? So he can empower you and give you to your right family. What did Yahushua said? Who is my mother? Who is my sister? Who is my brother? They that do the will of my Father which is in heaven. You're going to get a new mama. You're going to get a new brothers. You're going to get a new family. You're going to get a wife, maybe multiple wives. It's your culture. It's who he called you to be. You got to be fruitful and multiply. So go on my channel, man. Go check out Now Living in the Philippines. Some comment in the live were filtered to protect the community experience. All right. Oh, yeah. Somebody said they're cutting off TikTok soon. Of course. Let me tell you something. You know why they hate TikTok so much? Because the information. Let me tell you something about TikTok. TikTok was created not for you now. TikTok was created to confuse people, to give them a way to make money by doing absolutely nothing. I can sit down here and listen and get millions and millions of views and make millions and millions of dollars. Look at the guy where all he goes is, and he's one of the biggest TikToker, making all this money, doing foolishness. Keep you docile, to keep your mind away, to give you a way to make something out of nothing, to keep you ignorant. But Yahweh is using TikTok to get the message to those who need to hear it outside of the platforms that already got taken over. When TikTok was created, it was supposed to make you stupid. Somebody can come up here and shake their ass and make a whole lot of money. Talk about their makeup and talk about shit. But a guy like me, who come up here and telling you truth, only have 7 people listening to me right now on TikTok. If I was up here doing something, winding up my body, showing my muscle, how many millions of views will I have? Can these social media encourage slackness, as Yahweh called it, detestable behaviors? The more detestable you can be is the more you're rewarded. You want to be rich? Just be detestable and watch what's going to happen. Just be immoral. Come up here and suck out your woman's tongue and just do all kind of sexual act and watch what's going to happen. Show your ass, shake your ass and see what happens. But come up here and talk about Yahweh. But who do you think doing that? It's Yahweh. Yahweh is the one who is doing that. Yahweh is the one. So it's just 7 or 8 of you listening to me. It's because he wants you to hear. He's speaking directly to you. You see all those people who are not hearing me? They're slated to die. Yahweh is going to take them out. Come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins or contract any of her plagues, for her sins are piled up to heaven, and Yahweh has remembered her iniquities, lawlessness, and will give back to her as she has done to you. She has done some things to you, and Yahweh has now come to avenge you. He said, vengeance is mine. That's why he tells you not to do anything. He said, I am coming to do it. I'm going to do it for you, by you, and in you. To what? Give back to her as she has done to you. Pay her back double for what she has done to you. Mix her double portion in her cup. As much as she has glorified herself and lived in luxury, give her the same measure of torment and grief. In her heart, she says, I sit as queen, and I am not a widow, and will not see grief. Therefore, her plague will come in one day, death and grief and famine, and she will be utterly consumed by fire. For mighty is Yahweh, our Elohim, who judge her. Don't you think? Listen, if you live in Washington, D.C., you need to get out now. Yahweh is going to devastate her. And when you devastate the power structure of the world, what do you think's going to happen? You look through history. Where did Yahweh devastate? Babylon. Every power structure of the earth, he devastated them. Because they set up themselves as king and living deliciously and think they're mighty and they're going to live for 1,000 years. Y'all cut them down to size. There's no God but one. Shemai, Yahweh Sha'al, Yahweh Alaeno, Yahweh Akkad. Hear, O Yahweh Sha'al, the Yahweh, our mighty higher power is one. Ain't no one mightier than him. Ain't no one going to be Lord over him. Ain't no one going to be God over him. Ain't no one going to advise him. Ain't no one going to stay him. Ain't no one going to dismay him. Ain't nobody going to tell him what to do. He is King of kings and Lord of lords. He's God over all the earth and everything in it. He's the one who holds the waves, the ocean back from flowing over to the earth. He's the one who holds back the waters. He's the one that's going to do it. Send all the famine, and it's going to happen. People are going to starve. They're going to eat themselves. You know, when he shut the city down, people lose businesses. They lose house. They lose everything. Who bailed you out? Your government. So guess what? Guess who you're going to look to? Your government. Cursed is the man who looked to man for his salvation. When he shuts the city and you can't come out. When he shuts the air and you can't fly out. When he shuts the water and you can't sail out. And when he dries up your water and dries up your food and dries up your economy, what do you think is going to happen? He's going to watch you implode. And he's going to mock and laugh at you. Read Proverbs chapter 1. He's going to mock you and laugh at you. Because he's going to destroy you. And not one of you will escape. Because when he gave you sound doctrine, you did not listen. Now, when your calamity come upon you like a whirlwind, because it would come up, he said, what is it? In one day, it's going to come upon them. One day, just one day. They're completely destroyed. Not one of its inhabitants is going to left. Listen, when that day come, you're going to call for God. They're going to have all kind of prayer, fasting, and all churches going to come together, Muslims and Christians and Buddhists and non-believers. When 9/11, did not everybody come together? Everybody come together in 9/11, right? The Shiites, the Muslims, they take off their hats because they didn't want to be identified. But everybody come together and be one, praying. He said, you're going to come together and you're going to think there'll come peace, but sudden destruction is going to come up in you like a whirlwind. All the prayer and the fasting, he will not hear you. Let me in, let me in. We went back to get oil. We believe now. Please open the door, open the door. Oh, come on, please. Come on. I was a good person. I never killed nobody. I never steal. I never come in adultery. I pay my taxes. Let me in, let me in. When I called, you did not answer. Now you calling, I will not answer. You know what? You die. You know how many people died in Sodom and Gomorrah? You know how many people died in Nineveh? You know how many people died at the flood? You know how many people died when he used us to go into those cities and kill man, women, and children? Same God we worship today, yet, ladies and gentlemen. Same God. He hasn't changed. Same way he is. Doesn't shift and change and move. Same God. And when he opened his mouth to speak something, he doesn't change it. So don't think because you're a good person, you're going to be saved. The only one that's going to be saved is they that do his will. And his will is for you to leave the land of your enslavement and come to the Philippines. Further on this, go watch The Ravenous Bird on YouTube. I'm telling you, we have a prophet among us who speak the language fluidly. Oh my gosh. I'm waiting for the day when Yah open my heart to be able to speak the language fluidly. I can read it. I can't read it in our writings yet. I'm learning it though. I'm getting there. Let me show you what our writing looks like. I can't read it yet in my writings. That's how it looks. See? That's how it looks. I'm learning it though. But slowly, I have a transliterated version. Or I say translated version. You can see that. All right, let's see what to do right there. There you go. And that's how I read it. So I'm reading my native tongue in the filthy heathen language so I could understand what I'm saying, but I'm learning the athat, which is the alphabet. Well, we don't call it alphabet because we don't do letters. We call it athat, which means sign. The 22 signs. A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na. See, it's written. It's written. That's how it looks. And we're commanded by Yahweh to bind them up on our hands, and that's why we do it. Now, we don't put anything on our forehead like the Jews do. You're supposed to carry it in your mind. But he command us to bind them on our hands. Now, when you bind something on your hands, it's not only in the physical, but it means you're supposed to walk in them. That's what it means to walk with God. It's to walk in obedience. So when you bind it on your hands, it means that you're carrying it. When you bind them on your forehead, it means that you have them in your mind. You're thinking about it daily. So I'm learning our language. Nala karababal, a baseball, kathmurdak, a beshugata beha, katogalaleha, kegalagaleha, goema tapon, hoyeshet atara la hashama, wa al yashob, wa al yae yashob baha, ma adam wagad bama, nado, alako, ke ana ke my ear, wa mailagal babal, kal goim gasadem la mararats sapon, wagarako laha, masham talakad, katseo, kakabor, mashkel, layashob rekam, wayashet, yashadem, lashalal, kal shalaleha, yashabayo, naam yao, garako gal babal sabet, kal daraket kashat, yado aleha, al takamalo al kat, ke la yao kata, yahareayo, galeha sabet, natada yada, napalo ashe otheha, naraso como theha, ke nakamit ya ohea, ha nakamabaha, ka ashar gashatha, gasholaha, karatho zarai mababal, wanapash magal magate, katsir, mapane karab ayona, Aish al gamo yapano, wa aish la aratho yasnoso, gal harats ma arathem, Gala Galeha wa al Yosabet Bakoth. Karab, Wahakram, Akreham, Naam Yao, Wagasha Kakal Ashar O Etheka, At Nakamet Yao Alaeno, Nakamet Hekalo, Hashmeio al Babal Rabaim, Kal the Raket Kashat, Gano Galea, Asabet, al Yaela Aspalaita, Shalamo la Akapilka, Kakal Ashar Gashatha, Gasholaha, Ke La Yaosada al Kadosh Yaosher al Karab, Kal Gashadim Naam Yao, Wa al Yashabe Babe, Babal, Wa al Sharia, Wa al Kakameha, Karab, al Habadim Wa Nalo, Karab, al Gabareha, Wa Kathel, Karab, al Soseo, Wa al Rakabo, Wa al Kal Agarab Ashar Bathoka, Waheo Lashanim, Karab, al Oretheha, Wa Bazazo, Karab, al Memea, Wa Yabasho, Karab, Aratz Pasalim Hea, wa Baemim, Yatalo, Hana, Gamba Matzapon, Goi Godol, wa Malakim Rabim, Yara Marakate Aratz, Kate, Wakaden Yachzeko, Akazare Hama, wa Al Yarakamo, Kolum Kayam Yama, Wagal Sosim Yarakabo, Garuk Gaesh Lamalkama, Garlek bat Babal, Habaro Hakatzim, Ma'alo ha Shalatim, Ha'er Yao at Rok Malak Made, Ke Gal Babal Mamatso la Hashketha, Ke Nakamet Yao Hea Nakamet Hekalo, Mat Atale, Mapats Atale Kale Malkama, Wana Patse Paka, Goem, Wahashkate Paka, Mamlakot, Wana Patse Paka, Sos Warakabo, Wana Patse Paka, Rakabo Warakabo, Wana Patse Paka, H Wash Asha, Wana Patse Paka, Zakan Wanair, Wana Patse Paka, Bakur Wabathola, Wana Patse Paka, Rakar, Rai Warakado, Wanapatse Paka, Ashar Wathamado, Wanapatse Paka, Bakot Wasaganim. What I just did here, I just read a part of Jeremiah 51. And in Jeremiah 51, we're commanded to do this chant. We're commanded to shout against Babal and to bring her down. Because by us, he's going to do this so that we can partake in his glory for us as a people. And all the world's going to know who we are and what we're about. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you can trace your lineage through the transatlantic slave trade, it's time for you. Come out and come out now. You may not have a second chance. Now, as for the potter's clay, like hands in like clay in Yahweh's hands, so will you be. So will you be in his hands. You have to get to that place, ladies and gentlemen, where you can trust him enough with your lives. Jeremiah 18:2, verse 6. Arise and go down to the potter's house. Oh, I read that already. Genesis 2:7. And Yahweh or Elohim formed man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostril the breath of life, and the man became a living soul. Job 10:8-12. Twine hands have made me and fashioned me together around about, yet thou do destroy me. Thou do destroy me. Remember, I beseech thee, that thou hast made me as a clay, and wilt thou bring me into dust again? Hast thou not poured me out as milk and curled me up as cheese? Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and hast fastened me with bones and snare, sinew, or whatever that's called. Thou hast granted me life and favored, and thy Visitation has preserved my spirit, or my rook. What this is saying, Yahweh is the one who forms you. Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the things formed say of him that formed it, he had no understanding? Jeremiah 18:6. O house of house of Yahushael, cannot I do with you as the potter, saith Yahweh? Behold, as the clay in the hands of a potter, so are you in my hands, O house of Yahushael. All right. Psalms 103. Know he that Yahweh, he is Elohim. It is he that has made us and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pastors. Isaiah 45:9. Woe unto him that strive with his maker. Let the pottish strive pottered strive with the pottered of the earth, and potter are the potters, right? Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what make it thou? Are thy works he has no hands? So what am I getting at here? Yahweh, the creator, is going to fashion your minds and make you into a new person. You're going to truly be born again. And without that mindset to be converted and be in his hands, you're just going to live the rest of your life in misery until you're dead. Why not live in harmony with him? Why not be blessed by him to do his will and to see his kingdom come to fruition and his once again sit on his throne and his glory, the glory of Yahweh, you and I, fill the earth and all the nations stream to us. That's what he's calling you to do. Here's my question to you. Will you repent? And if so, then what are you waiting for? That's it. That's all I got. Shabbat Shalom. Until next time, I'm Maker Al Ban Yahushael.